Our episode kicks off with a flashback of the girls showing Nakatomi around the school garden. Nadeko, the one with the green thumb, proudly displays her plantings. She can grow any flower or vegetable for Akira. She's got the Midas touch with gardening. Ryumi doesn't quite grasp Akira's praise for Nadeko. They ask about the name of a flower, which happens to be a myrtle. It can be used as medicine or liquor, and the little berries it grows can be eaten. The myrtle flower resembles a star. Then the girls gaze at the river, spotting fish there. Nakatomi is focused, staring at her reflection in the water. Next, we see the girls stargazing at night. Shizuru declares her ambition to become a jiu-jitsu master in Agano and fight a Tamanda. She wants to become super smart and munch on all kinds of mushrooms. She also wants to find tiny people. Nakatomi thinks Shizuru is incredible, just like Shizuru. You're incredible too if you're subscribed to the channel. If you haven't, please do it now and don't miss out on updates. Back to the recap, Shizuru says she gets embarrassed by all the praise, but Nakatomi doesn't understand why she's so amazing. She asks Shizuru about it, but Shizuru is stumped. She doesn't know how to answer. Maybe it's because she does whatever she feels like and goes wherever she wants, Shizuru suggests. Nakatomi thinks that's fantastic since she can't seem to do anything herself. Shizuru asks her to root for her then, and Nakatomi says she always does. She believes she can manage that. Shizuru promises to root for Yoka too. Nakatomi is thrilled to hear Shizuru say that. Shizuru suggests they make a promise under that big, shiny promise star. Nakatomi isn't sure what that is, but Shizuru says she just made up the name. Shizuru thinks the star's name should be Sirius, and she decides they'll adopt that name for themselves. Nakatomi agrees, and then they wonder how long it's been since they left Higashi Agano. Nadeko figures it's been about 2 or 3 hours. Those stations were pretty far apart. But before the 7G incident, they were much closer. Ryumi wonders why they hadn't taken the train more often before. It was quick to get to Ikebukuro back then, exactly 30 stops from Agano to Ikebukuro, which meant they still had 29 left. The trip was indeed going to be long. They wonder how Yoka is doing, and if she'll be surprised, imagining if she'll be happy. Ryumi hopes they don't get old by the time they reach Ikebukuro. But Nadeko says they're animals until then. Pachai, the dog, sniffs Akira's behind, and she gets embarrassed. Ryumi remembers Matsuda saying life gets short if mushrooms grow on any part of the body. It gets so short that the person dies in a year. But they're happy while alive. She asks Akira what she thinks. Akira gets super nervous and prefers to change the subject. Nadeko tells Ryumi to stop because it was too scary for Akira. Despite being scared, she saved them all. Ryumi apologizes to Akira. But then she notices that Pachai is really fixated and Akira jumps, realizing that Pachai won't stop sniffing her behind. Ryumi asks if Akira didn't change her underwear, and Nadeko tells Ryumi to stop. Akira says they just washed their clothes. She asks if Ryumi didn't see her change her clothes, and Ryumi says she didn't because she doesn't let anyone see her. Akira says she hung her clothes right after. Finally, they arrive at Musashi Yokote Station. Nadeko thinks at least it doesn't seem dangerous. Actually, it seemed like nothing because there was just grass. Until they encounter a goat. Musashi Yokote was famous for its goats around the station. Suddenly, the goat stands up, and they're scared because they didn't know goats stood up. It starts running towards them, and they quickly run into the train and lock the door, trying to escape quickly because a horde of goats starts chasing them. Banging their heads on the train, Ryumi asks them to stop hitting their train. They think their horns are some kind of helmet. Amidst all the chaos, Pachai tries to sniff Akira's behind again and starts barking. Akira tells him not to be afraid and stay calm while asking Shizuru to go faster. But Shizuru says she's trying her best. They finally get out of that station with the crazy goats. Nadeko can't understand what got into those goats. She doesn't know what they wanted. Ryumi thinks there will be 28 more stations after that. Shizuru is driving the train until she starts getting sleepy. Akira talks to the girls about taking turns driving the train. After all, they can't let Shizuru do it alone, but Shizuru says it's fine because it was her idea to go to Ikebukuro in the first place. Nadeko doesn't mind. One of them asks Akira what she thinks about taking turns driving the train, and Akira thinks it's a good idea. It would be dangerous if she got tired and fell asleep while driving. If they take turns driving the train, they'll be in motion longer and be more efficient, so they can reach Ikebukuro faster. For Nadeko, this was much better. Shizuru agrees and thanks her. Ryumi says Shizuru needs to rest. After all, they didn't know how long it would take to get to Ikebukuro. Ryumi thought it would only take 3 days, but now she's realizing it might be longer. Nadeko suggests that after they eat and fold the clothes, Shizuru will give them an intensive crash course on how to drive the train. Before, Ryumi hated bitter melon, but now she finds it quite tasty. Nadeko thinks it tastes even better when they eat it that way. Akira watches them chatting, but she's feeling a bit down, so she gets up and says she's going to the bathroom. Nadeko asks if Akira wants them to accompany her, but she says she'll go alone. Then she leaves the train. However, upon reaching behind the tree, she realizes that when mushrooms grow on someone, that person dies in less than a year. Akira prefers not to believe it. She pretends everything is fine and she's perfect. It's just a pimple, not a mushroom. She swears she's fine, and so the girls continue with the journey. Nadeko drives while Shizuru monitors, and the other girls also keep watch. Until they reach Koma Station, and as they look around, some vegetables appear, and they start laughing when they see them. They're scared, and Shizuru says they should flee and asks Nadeko to speed up, so they leave that station. Which is even weirder than the previous ones. They stop the train near a river and decide to take a bath. Ryumi calls for Akira, warning her that if she doesn't wash properly, Pachai will sniff her behind again. Akira calls Ryumi a troublemaker and tells her to shut up. Then they continue with the journey, passing through a place full of fireflies, which is a beautiful sight. Ryumi is next to Ryumi and feeling very sleepy until they switch places under the mushroom's influence. Akira says she wants to stay like this forever, in peace and tranquility, until they reach Higashi Hano Station. And Nadeko asks Shizuru if they should stop or keep going. Shizuru doesn't want to pay yet and prefers to go slowly. They pass through a place full of golf balls, which scares them and also scares Nadeko. Ryumi has a terrible thought about the strange goats at Musashi Yakote Station, the weird roots at Koma Station, and now golf balls here. She wonders if they used to be people living nearby until golf balls start raining down on them, making them very scared. Shizuru accelerates, and they believe they were actually people who turned into golf balls after the 7G incident. After passing through that place, they arrive at a station that's also bizarre with several wooden sculptures. They ask Shizuru to leave there quickly. They look at a reference map because they would have a switchback. From now on, the back would be the front. They prepare for the reversal by taking their belongings to the other side. Ryumi finds those stations scary, and it's getting worse. Akira tells Ryumi not to say that again, or she'll make fun of her again. Akira replies that being able to communicate with someone means being able to lie and say bad things or start fights. Akira thinks she would be calm as long as she didn't talk to anyone, because it would keep her from conflicts, and then she could be perfectly quiet. She wants to be in a dark, damp, and quiet environment. Ryumi then comes to check Akira's temperature, and Akira is scared, asking what she's doing. Ryumi asks why Akira is hiding her behind. Ryumi asks her to show it, and Akira obviously refuses. Ryumi insists, and Akira tries to escape. Nadeko holds Akira, saying it's just a quick look, and Ryumi finally manages to see it. When they realize it's a mushroom, Akira swore she was fine. She was great. Shizuru arrives and asks if everything is okay. Ryumi tells Shizuru that a mushroom is growing on Akira, and then Nadeko and Shizuru try to remove it from her. Ryumi says if they don't remove it, she will die in about a year or less. But for Akira, everything is fine. Ryumi tells her not to worry because she has always been like this, cynical, sarcastic, and always making fun of others. Akira tells Ryumi to stop, calling her a troublemaker and stupid. Ryumi gets angry, saying that Akira never talks when something happens to her, always pretending to be tough when things get worse. Ryumi grabs the mushroom and pulls it with all her might until the mushroom starts running, and suddenly it explodes. The girls are left confused. Akira faints and wakes up, saying they're all weird, and she's always okay. The girls are worried, and Nadeko thinks there's something strange about Akira. Ryumi finds it strange because they return to normal, but Akira didn't. Akira starts playing with Pachai's face, and the girls think about going back to Agano, but it's not possible anymore because they are far away. Then it's time to talk to the old Zenjiro, and they ask for help. The old man believes her brain has been affected and says there's a blunt doctor in Hano who is his colleague. He asks them to take Akira to this doctor, who is located in Inariyama Park. Ryumi remembers that once the capybara Kazuyo had mentioned a good doctor in Inariyama Park. However, they didn't know if it was a human or an animal, and they didn't know the current condition of the park, but they remain calm and continue their journey to help their friend. They arrive at a station and find no one. But they could use the bathroom, and there was running water. Then they find Jizo, a statue. He says that Inariyama Park Station is 2 stations ahead, but has never heard of any doctors and apologizes. So the girls continue their journey, passing through a weird place where they could see various organs. They finally arrive at a station. Nadeko tells Shizuru to take care of Ryumi because she's going to take care of Akira. Ryumi doesn't understand why Shizuru has to take care of her, and Shizuru says Ryumi loses focus, but Ryumi disagrees. They literally find nothing at Inariyama Park Station. They don't see any doctors or anyone until they hear a ringing telephone. They run and find a town. Ryumi decides to jump over the wall because they don't have much time, and they need to find a doctor quickly to examine Akira. They find it bizarre because the city is tiny. Ryumi finds it cute, and they need to dodge the electric wires, but still, they can't find anyone. Then a plane appears flying, and they're impressed because it's been a while since they've seen a flying plane. The plane starts shooting at them, and they don't understand anything. They try to defend themselves, but the shots are very itchy, and they run because the itching is very annoying. Then tiny soldiers jump to shoot at them, and as they try to escape, they encounter tanks and take more shots, which make them itch a lot, and they end up falling and fainting. Ryumi has a flashback of her running to Akira, asking her to wait. She had no idea how to study for the Japanese test they would have, so she asks for Akira's help. Akira thinks she would stop being a dumb troublemaker, but Ryumi doesn't care. For her, that would be great. She wants to stop being like that. Akira asks her to highlight the parts she wants to memorize from a book or dictionary and put them between 2 Togo rice crackers and eat them. Ryumi thinks Akira is very clever, so she does it. She eats the cookies with pieces of paper. Ryumi wakes up after fainting and realizes she's tied from end to end, and she panics, asking what it was.